Today we are dealing with scale drawings. So on this map of Indiana, one centimeter is equal to 60 kilometers. Use this scale to answer question 1 through 3. So on the map, this distance here is only 1 centimeter, but in real life, it's really 60 kilometers, which I did change that number. So that's not actually real life, but so let's answer this one. Terre Haute to Indianapolis to Bloomington measures 3 centimeters on the map. What is the actual distance? So let's look over here and mark kind of what we're looking at, which you don't even have to mark it on the map, but just so you know, if you go from here to Indianapolis to Bloomington, it's 3 centimeters long. What is the actual distance? So we just have to use our scale up here. It tells us for 1 centimeter, it's 60 kilometers. So if we want to know how much 3 centimeters is, we basically have to ask ourselves, well, what do we multiply by? In order to go from 1 to 3, we multiplied by 3. So over here, I need to also multiply by 3. And so 160 times 3 is 180 kilometers. So 180 would be your answer for this one. Let's look at the next one. I'm still using this made-up value of 1 centimeter to 60 kilometers. That's not what it is in Connexus, so make sure you're careful that you use your actual numbers. It says Fort Wayne to Richmond to New Albany measures 6 centimeters on the map. What is the actual distance? So we start with our scale, which says 1 centimeter to 60 kilometers. And then we want to know the distance of 6 centimeters. Well, basically, we ask ourselves, what are we multiplying by to get from 1 to 6? And we're multiplying by 6. So over here, we want to also multiply by 6. And 60 times 6 is 360 kilometers. I'm actually going to double check that because I don't always trust my brain. So let's do 60 times 6 in the calculator, and it is 360. Okay, good. So the final answer here, the actual distance would be 360 kilometers. If your Indiana trip is 375 kilometers, how many centimeters is this on the map? All right, so our scale again is 1 centimeter is the same as 60 kilometers, and we are going 375 kilometers, and we want to know how many centimeters that would be. All right, so this one's a little bit harder. I can't just look at it and say 60 times a number is 375. My brain doesn't work that way. But I can go in reverse. And in my calculator, I can do 375 divided by 60 to see what I'm multiplying by. Because I got to figure out what I'm multiplying by. So I'm going to do this in the calculator. 375 divided by 60. 375 divided by 60 is 6.25. So that tells me that if I do 60 times 6.25, I'll get 375, which means I need to come over here and I need to also multiply this by 6.25, and 1 times 6.25 is going to give us 6.25. So if you have a 375 kilometer trip, that's 6.25 centimeters on the map. All right, sometimes scale drawings are shown on graph paper. Each square of this graph paper is 1/4 inch. Use the scale drawing of the living room to answer questions 4 and 5. All right, and down here it says our scale, and this is important. We always need to know our scale. So 1/4 inch equals 18 inches in real life. All right, there are 1,296 inches squared in 1 square yard. Use a proportion to find out how many square yards of carpet it would take to cover the floor of the living room. All right, so this is a multi-step problem. The first thing I need to figure out is I need to figure out the size of this living room in my scale drawing. So I'm going to count the units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10 units this way. And then I'm going to count this way. Well, I'll just do the top because there's more room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So in my scale, this is a 10 by 12. But remember, each one of these blocks, each one of these 1/4 inch blocks is equal to 18 inches in the real world. So if I wanted to know the real world dimensions of this room, I would have to take my 12 blocks and multiply it by 18 times 18 to figure out the size of the real room. So let's do that in our calculator. 12 times 18, so it's 216 inches by, and then let's do 10 times 18 is 180. So the length and the width we know, and now we need to figure out the whole area because we're trying to deal with square yards, so we need to find the whole area. So if we did 216, the length times the width, that would give us the area of the whole room. So let's go ahead and do that. 216 times 180. So the area of the whole room is 38,880. Okay, this is the area of the room in inches squared. And down here it says that there are 1,296 inches squared in 1 yard, and we want to know how many yards we need. So if our total is this much, we're going to divide to see how many yards we need. So we're going to take this number and we're going to divide it by how many inches are in each yard. So 388, oops, divided by, I think it was 1,296. Oops. Okay, so 30. That means that we would need 30 yards of carpet. Now that was a pretty complicated problem. First, we found the dimensions of our scale drawing, then we multiplied them by the scale factor so that we could solve to figure out the area of the whole room. And then we took the area in inches, divided it by how many inches are in yards to figure out how many yards of carpet we would need. All right, this one says, what is the actual dimensions of the sofa in inches? All right, so again, we're going to take our picture and we're going to count what it is in the graph in this picture. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units long this way. And it's 1, 2, and I don't know, maybe a half units that way. And so in our picture, the whole sofa is 5 times 2. Well, let me go ahead and do we want to know the actual dimensions. And since each of these units equals 18 inches, I'm going to go ahead and multiply each of these times 18 to get the real dimensions of the real sofa. So 5 times 18 is 90. And 2.5 times 18 is 45. And so the actual dimensions, well, hang on just a second. I'm going to double check to make sure that that's actually a 0.5. Okay, so I didn't totally trust myself because it doesn't quite look like it's halfway up, but I did look at the answer choices in Connexus, and it does, the only answer choices that make sense is to pretend like that is 2.5. So the actual dimensions of the sofa would be 90 inches by 45 inches, the length times the width. And it doesn't matter, the order can be reversed. It doesn't matter if you say 45 times 90 or 90 times 45. But those are the actual dimensions. We just found what it was on the graph paper, and then we multiplied it by 18 since that's our scale factor. And that's it.